Game 2 of a 3-game road series in Southern California. We're here at Great Park Irvine following a disastrous loss against the Academy Barons last night. The Blues look to turn it around against the Riptide, who are riding high after a win against the Caneo Oaks last night. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the broadcast booth. Nate Mills here for you on the Ancient Owl pregame show on the SLO Blues Streaming Network, getting you ready for the Riptide and the San Luis Obispo Blues. The OC Riptide representing the CCL South and the Blues in the CCL North. These two used to be CCL South foes, but after last season when the Blues moved to the North, they're now a little bit more separated. The Blues and the Riptide only playing once this entire summer. This will be it here from beautiful Great Park Irvine in Southern California. Not much to say about last night's game. It was a 20-3 loss against the Academy Barons, and nothing, and I mean nothing, was going San Luis Obispo's way. But you can really look at a couple of factors for the Blues that led to that loss. First of all, doesn't seem like they brought the A lineup out there that day. Wanted to get some guys some playing time. But the bats that came through and pinch hit later in the game for the Blues showed out pretty well. Spencer Gallimore, a two-way player from UC Colorado Springs, collected a base hit, his third of the summer. Pretty intriguing as he fights for a spot in the lineup for Dean Traynor and at UC Colorado Springs. But really for the Blues, what went wrong? 3 errors on defense just simply can't happen. The Blues were coming off of a game where they recorded 0 errors against the Arroyo Seco Saints, one of the best teams in the entire CCL. And they squeaked out a 3-0 win. But when you get 3 errors, I mean, obviously, there were 20 runs scored by the Academy Barons, but those 3 errors just kind of got things going, and it started with a little snowball, and then it advanced into an avalanche of disaster for San Luis Obispo. And again, the starting pitching wasn't great for the Blues either. Jackson Howe made a start for San Luis Obispo yesterday, and after a spectacular appearance against the San Francisco Seagulls, where he had 6 strikeouts, 5 hits, no runs, and 5 innings pitched, he only got out with 1 1/3 innings of work, 6 runs, only 4 of them earned, 4 walks, and 0 strikeouts. That was another thing, too, about this Blues game yesterday, is that the pitching led up walk after hit by pitch, after walk after pass ball, and that's how the Barons were able to build momentum, get around the bases, knock guys around. Fastballs were left way too much over the plate, and they hammered them. I mean, you can look at the 2 3-run home runs that the Academy hit, too. That buried San Luis Obispo. I mean, this game seemed to be pretty much over by the 3rd inning. The Blues put together a really nice top of the 2nd inning with a 3 spot, capped off by a game-tying RBI triple from Sam Ardois. It was tied at 3. The Barons responded right away with a 3 spot of their own, and then a 4-run inning. That made it a 10-3 ball game. And then it was off to the races for the Academy, obviously scoring 10 runs after that. So the Blues are trying to shake that one off today against the OC Riptide, and this is a tall order for them as OC sits in 4th in the CCL South. If the season were to end today, they would be in the playoffs, as the Santa Barbara Foresters do not qualify for the CCL postseason. So technically, the Riptide are in 3rd in the CCL South. But every year in and year out, they have the talent to compete with anyone in this conference. Not too surprising, as we are in Irvine, California. We're in essentially a baseball hotbed in the entire country. In Southern California, known for producing a lot of good baseball talent, and that's certainly true here for this OC Riptide lineup. Well, speaking of talent, the Blues are showcasing a brand new pitcher today, Ryan Featherston from the University of Oregon, who pitched in the Big Ten Championship against the University of Nebraska. Really excited what he has. Heavy on the fastball, heavy on the slider. He's going to pound the zone against these Riptide hitters and challenge them. Challenge them. You got a good defense behind you. You got a really nice playing surface behind you, too, at Great Park Irvine. So a lot of confidence coming in for Ryan Featherston. This is an arm that the Blues were highly anticipating in this offseason, and it's really exciting to see him make a start here. And what a way to have a clean slate here. A guy who's never pitched in a Blues uniform pitching for San Luis Obispo. It's a great opportunity to wipe away yesterday and have a good day today and a happy bus ride into Santa Barbara tomorrow to play against your rival in the Foresters. That'll do it from me here in the Ancient Owl pregame show on the SLO Blues Streaming Network from Great Park Irvine. Once again, everyone at Ancient Owl, thank you so much for watching this broadcast and this pregame show. We'll send it back to the field, and I'll see you after this on the SLO Blues Streaming Network.
Currently, Caporo. All the way out in center field, out Northwestern, number 13, Carter Bates. In left field, and Calabasas, number 25, Riley Hunsaker. Playing at first base, and UNLV, number 19, Jonathan Rodriguez. The starting second baseman, out of Long Beach State, number 49, Jake Evans. The starting shortstop at TCU, number 2, Kevin Sars. On the hot corner in third base at St. Mary's, number 40, Murray Petty. The penalty for the Riptide and 2 minute catching, number 21, Jimmy Zakar. The starting pitcher tonight for the Riptide and Hope International University, right-handed pitcher number 37, Trey Seeley. Head coach of the Riptide in his first season is Brian Evans, assisted by Greg Mayu with Andrew Ramos and Zach Thomas. Ladies and gentlemen, your Orange County Riptide. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise as you're able, and please remove your hats. As are the United States of America, and those who serve our country and hold abroad, with the performance of our national anthem. Performing the anthem tonight, please welcome Great Park organist and Riptide intern, Mr. Gary Sinsborough. With the performance of our national anthem, one more time for Great Park organist, Mr. Gary Sinsborough. Thank you.
Ready to play ball from Orange County, California, here at Great Park Irvine, the home of the OC Riptide. Game 2 of a 3-game road series in the southern coast of California. The Blues and the Riptide getting set. San Luis Obispo, as mentioned in the pregame show, trying to recover off a frankly disastrous day against the Academy Barons, a 20-3 loss against the Academy, trying to redeem themselves after that in today's ball game against the OC Riptide. Here's the starting lineup for the San Luis Obispo Blues. Leading it off, it's EJ Royal. Kate O'Hara plays shortstop and bats second, with Don Jordan in right field and batting third. The cleanup hitter is Zach Tollerman. He plays first base. Gavin Smith DHs and bats fifth, with Brendan Comerford playing third and batting sixth. Batting seventh, it's Jake Hicksonbaugh playing in left field. And batting eighth, it's the left-handed hitting catcher Charlie Caruso. And rounding it out in the 9th spot for the Blues is the second baseman Gavin Constantine. The defensive alignment for the Orange County Riptide. Sakar behind the dish with Rodriguez at first. Evans at second, Pettit at third, Camden Sauce at shortstop, and the outfield left to right is Hunsaker, Dans, and Navarro, with Moran DHing for the OC Riptide. Trey Seeley is your starting pitcher for OC, and he is spectacular. One of the best NAIA pitchers you could ever come around. Matter of fact, he played in the national championship game against LSU Shreveport, who had an undefeated season and went on to win the whole entire thing. But in that game against Shreveport, 8 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 11 strikeouts on 119 pitches against LSU Shreveport. That's just kind of capping off a season where he had a 1.67 earned run average. He's a JUCO transfer from Cypress College, right up the street here from Great Park, Irvine, and he's making an appearance against the Blues today. Tall task for San Luis Obispo ahead of him after an uninspiring night offensively. They got the big guns and Trey Seeley out there for the Riptide. E.J. Royal leading it off for San Luis Obispo. He had a day off yesterday against the Academy Barons, but returns to center field today and in the leadoff spot. Here's the first pitch, and Royal will take it for strike one. Exactly at 7:05 p.m. here from Irvine, California. '70, 67 degrees and sunny as Royal sends it up the middle in the shortstop Sauce. Across his body and in time to retire the leadoff hitter Royal for out number one. 67 and sunny, game time temperature in game two of this SoCal swing. And oh, it feels like SoCal all right. Here's Cade O'Hara now, the local kid from Tustin, California, making a quick drive from his house to Great Park, Irvine this afternoon. Seeley delivers, and O'Hara dodges a sweeper, missing high and tight, ball one. Cade did not play in yesterday's game against the Academy Barons, but he played against the Arroyo Seco Saints at home. The 1-1. O'Hara takes it for a strike. In that game, Cade was 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts, a sacrifice fly in the third. That was the only inning where the Blues put up any runs, and Cade was the first guy to do so. A 3-0 win against the Saints. O'Hara dances out of the way of a fastball inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Cade, a two-way player from Tustin, playing in his own backyard today against the Orange County Riptide. Against a good pitcher in Trey Seeley. 1-2, pitch underneath his head. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cade O'Hara. The 1-2. O'Hara swings and misses. 3-2 count now to Cade O'Hara, wearing some brand new all-white batting gloves. A hometown special for Cade. The payoff. And Cade will take it for ball 4. First base runner for San Luis Obispo, and it's Cade O'Hara over at first base with 1 out. Here's Donovan Jordan now for SLO. One of the more prolific hitters on this roster. He's been productive this season, making his 19th start. The Blues are playing in their 21st game of the year. 26 hits, that leads the team in 70 at-bats. Jordan takes outside, and the catcher, Zakar, bobbles it for ball 1. O'Hara with an average lead at first base. Jordan played yesterday in that dumpster fire of a game against the Barons. Had a single late in the 8th inning. 1 for 5 day for Jordan. Don holds up his swing on a curveball, but it's a called strike, 1-1. Jordan has struck out 12 times to his 10 walks and his 3 hit by pitches. For how violently he swings the baseball bat, it's kind of funny at how little he strikes out comparatively. The 1-1. And it's taken outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Playing in right field today, and he's got a cannon out in right. Makes perfect sense why he's playing in that corner. 2-1, he dribbles it to the third baseman. Pettit, and it's over his glove and into left field, a base hit. First hit of the day for the Blues. There goes a no-hitter for Trey Seeley. Runners at first and second. High bounding ball over the glove of Pettit over at third. A very solid playing surface here at Great Park Irvine. One of the tighter playing surfaces I think the Blues will ever play on this summer. I talked about how Monte Vista High School with Walnut Creek Crawdads might be the best non-turf surface the Blues will play on. It's a pretty good rival right here at Great Park. So here's Zach Tollerman, the first baseman, with a runner in scoring position for the Blues. From the stretch, both runners take off. The throw goes to third, and Pettit keeps it in the infield. Successful double steal and 2 in scoring position for the Blues. The Blues a couple games ago were very problematic on the base paths. A couple of caught stealings, a couple pickoffs, and said it 100 times in that broadcast. That is not like San Luis Obispo to make so many outs on the base paths. What we just saw right there with the double steal is what we're used to this summer. You get a couple of athletic and fast runners like Don Jordan and Kate O'Hara. You're going to run some plays like that. Corners playing in on the 0-1 count with 1 out. And Tollerman takes the curveball in the dirt for ball 1. ZT positioning for a 5th year of college baseball at San Jose State. He spent his first year at Cuesta College in San Luis Obispo, and then 1 at UC Riverside, and then last year with the Spartans at San Jose State. Enjoyed it so much, he wants to return. The 1-1. Tollerman swings and fouls it straight back for strike 2. Tollerman a night off last night. Brendan Comerford played first base for San Luis Obispo, but he batted 7th against the Saints. 0 for 1 day with a pair of walks against Arroyo Seco. Long hold. Here's the 1-2. And Tollerman swings and sends it straight back. We'll do it again at a ball and 2 strikes. Gavin Smith, the DH, stands on deck for San Luis Obispo. Batting 5th and wearing his cherry red batting gloves. But for now, it's ZT with a widened stance, filling out the entirety of the batter's box. And the 1-2 with runners on second and third. Here's the pitch. And Tollerman rolls inside of a curveball that doesn't break enough. Left inside for a ball. 2-2 now to ZT. Tollerman making his 5th start for the Blues this summer. A late arrival for San Luis Obispo. 3 hits in his 12 at-bats so far. Has only driven in 1 run. Trying to get 2 and 3 right here on the 2-2. Tollerman takes the curveball high and tight. And a full count now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Trey Seeley made 16 appearances, 15 starts at Hope International last year. 86 and a third innings pitch. 112 strikeouts. Payoff pitch, and it's roped down the left field line and a base hit. Kate O'Hara comes in to score. Don Jordan coming around third. The ball kicked around in the left field corner. Tollerman stretching it into a triple. He legs it out and will stand on third base. 2 RBI, 3-bagger for Zach Tollerman. The Blues strike first. 2 days in a row with a triple. How about that? This one, though, makes it a 2-0 ball game instead of tying it up. O'Hara scored from third, Don Jordan from second base. And here's Gavin Smith with Zach Tollerman standing at third. Here's Smith. First pitch, just an off speed and a called strike. Last season at Hope International, Trey Seeley allowed 54 hits in his 86 and a third innings pitch. He's got 2 in the first against the Blues. The 0-1. And Smith loses his bat as it flutters in front of the OC Riptide dugout. That's not the first time Gavin Smith has lost his bat. If I could remind you, Game 1 against the Sonoma Stompers up in Sonoma, Smith lost his bat. And what's funny about that, too, is in that game against the Sonoma Stompers, Smith was the beer batter, which means if Smith strikes out, there is a certain discount on alcoholic beverages here at Great Park. That was the same case at Sonoma against the Stompers. And he lost his bat in that game, too. It's deja vu all over again for Gavin Smith. Here's the 0-2. And Smith chases the high fastball for strike 3. Second out of the first inning, and the fans get discounted beer here at Great Park. Actually talked to Smith after the game where he was the beer batter in Sonoma. I said, did that get in your head at all? He said, not really. Here's Comerford now. Zach Tellerman still standing at third.